Hey everybody. Today we are looking at a lesson on how to manipulate equations to solve for variables. So you have all solved before, but now we're throwing in just how you would solve if everything in your equation or formula is a variable or a letter like we're seeing here. So let's look at this problem. It wants us to solve for VF. VF is right there in the equation. Solving for that means I want to have VF equals, and then I'll have it equal in terms of everything else. So when I am solving, I need to go in the opposite order of how I would evaluate. So let's say if I had numbers right here, if I was evaluating, I would start by subtracting and then I would divide. That means that when I solve, I'm going to undo everything that is around my hidden variable, in this case v sub f, and I'm going to go in the opposite order, the inverse order of PEMDAS, if you will. So instead of subtracting and dividing, I'm going to do the opposite of that, and I'll start by multiplying. So I'm going to multiply both sides by t. That'll cross this t out. And now I've got t times a is equal to v sub f minus v sub I. Now I would add v sub I to both sides. Put a little more room here. So I get a final answer. I'm going to flip this around and put v sub f right here. And my final answer would be t times a. I just write those together. I could put a little dot between them, but that's t times a plus vi. Not too bad. Let's look at another one. Okay, this is a formula for kinetic energy. So in this case, Ke is actually just representing a single variable. So in this case, I can see, like, if I think about how I would evaluate, I would probably first square the v. I would square this, and then I'd multiply the m by it, and then I'd multiply that by 1/2, or divide by 2. So I'm going to go in the opposite order to solve for v. I'm going to do those actions in reverse. So what I'd start off with is getting rid of this 1/2. I'll do that by multiplying both sides by 2. That crosses out the 1/2. Now I've got mv squared left. 2ke equals mv squared. Next I want to get rid of this m. Since it's multiplying m times v squared, I'll just divide. That will get rid of my m. I'll do this to the other side. Great. Now I'm going to actually go ahead and, just because my final form is getting close, I'm going to put v squared on this side. And then right now, v squared is equal to 2ke divided by m. So I got to get rid of this little 2 here. I got to think, how do I get rid of a square symbol? Well, the answer is I take a square root. And I can square root the entire left side as long as I also square root the entire right side. Now, here's a tricky bit though. You have to think, in an equation like this, velocity could be positive or negative, but either way, after you square it, it turns positive. So that means that velocity can have a positive or negative answer. And then that's a positive or negative 2ke divided by m. Now, this positive or negative sign I'm using that in this case because I know that velocity is something that can be positive or negative. If I was doing this and solving for, say, the side length of a triangle using like Pythagorean's theorem, if I take a square root and I'm solving for something that I know is positive, then I would not put the plus and minus sign in front of that. Again, this plus and minus sign is a way of saying that there is a positive or a negative answer. Anyway, I hope this was helpful for you. Good luck with your independent practice.